Hi, my name is Dr. Sarah Underwood, and this activity is all about you understanding who are your customers and how you're going to reach them. Very quickly, let's talk about the difference between markets and industries. These terms are often used to mean the same things, and that can be confusing. Your market is made up of your customers or your potential customers, whereas an industry is made up of competitors offering products to these customers. So, for example, let's imagine that you make desk chairs. Your industry is furniture manufacturing, and you're competing, in theory, against everyone else who is selling chairs or potentially anything that your customers could sit on. Your market is the group of customers that may purchase that chair. It's important to remember that these terms describe different things, but can overlap, so that you end up with several industries serving one market. This is becoming more so as technology advances and the lines between markets and industries become blurred. For example, in the 1980s, the mobile phone industry was the provision of communication without a landline. Now mobiles have advanced to include computing, photography, entertainment and retail industries. So remember, industries and markets are moving all the time, and therefore they provide a major source of entrepreneurial opportunities. Before I go into the details about how you can really determine your market, I think it's important to explain why you should devote a bit of time to doing this well. There are always challenges in marketing any product or service amid the noise and constant advertisement with which we are always surrounded. However, for startup businesses, it can be even more challenging. There's rarely a big budget for marketing in the early stages of a business. It can be difficult to get attention when no one knows who you are, and you may be trying to compete with other businesses that are really well established. The good news is there's also a lot going for startup businesses. They can move quicker to respond to new opportunities because they're more flexible, they're closer to their customers, and they have a capacity to form new networks very quickly. So it's worth getting this bit right, and then you can spend whatever time and money you do have on talking to the customers who are going to make the difference to your new business. Firstly, establish your market size and potential. It can be difficult to accurately judge the size and scale of your market, but you can usually find lots of resources to help you. Start by thinking about your own experiences with similar products or services and talk to the people who are involved in the market. Don't forget, the internet can be a wonderful source of information. Secondly, work out who are your competitors. There are different ways you can analyse industry competitors, from more strategic overviews to a very detailed analysis of what your rivals offer. There's lots of publicly available information to help you, such as company accounts. But you should also make use of your own resources. Visit your competitors if you can, or read their customer reviews. Thirdly, consider your potential market segments. In addition to estimating the size and potential, you should also think about which part of the market you want to focus on. Market segmentation is a tried and tested process of dividing up a market into groups and appealing to common characteristics, for example, an age range. Think of 18 to 30 holidays, or perhaps a common need, such as having a nut allergy or help with organising a wedding. A market segment should be measurable, identifiable, accessible, and large enough to be profitable. You need to know early on if you've only got one potential customer. Now you know who your customers are, you can start thinking more in depth about how you're going to talk to them about your product or service. A simple way to help focus on this is to consider the 4 Ps. Product. What is special about whatever it is you're selling, and how does it meet your customer needs? Price. How are you going to choose the price? Are you going to sell it for a bit more than it costs to make, or are you going to find out your competitor's price and beat that? Place. How is this product or service going to reach your customers? Are there lots of different avenues that you could use? Promotion. How are your customers going to know about your product or service? What channels are you going to use to promote? Once you've worked through these questions, you should go back and check that they work with what you've previously found out about your potential market. The final point from this section is to think about how you want to be seen as an organisation. Trust between you and the people who you do business with is essential, and this includes your customers, your suppliers, your partners and other organisations. It's often built over time, so when you're new, this can be a real challenge. You need to convince people that you and your team are capable of delivering what you say you can. A large part of this is being able to clearly communicate your idea in a convincing way and show that you really understand your customers. So spend a bit of time writing down how you want to be viewed as an organisation. Where would you go to find information about your industry or your market? How do you want to be thought of as a new startup business? Innovative, professional, fun? In the discussion board, share your ideas and resources with your fellow participants.